The dust of travel finally settled as Jacob, now Israel, pitched his tents in the land promised to his fathers. Flocks spread across the hills, children darted between cookfires. The camp breathed like a young nation still wrapped in canvas. Israel walked with a limp, but he walked as a man who had seen God and lived. He had many sons, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, and the rest, but his gaze settled most often on Joseph, the son of Rachel, thoughtful, quick to wonder, given to dreams. When Israel laid a richly woven robe across Joseph's shoulders, the brothers watched in tightening silence. They had seen this before, favor given unevenly, love poured heavy on one. They remembered what favoritism did to Esau. Seeds of resentment took root. South across the red cliffs of Seir, Esau's descendants gathered, hardened, multiplied. They carved settlements into the rock and learned to command the trade routes that wound through the desert passes. Travelers spoke of them with caution. The people of Edom, Esau's line, fierce, proud, difficult to cross. What began as a brother's grudge slowly settled into borders, tariffs, armed escorts, refusal of passage. Memory became politics. Wound became policy. Years rolled on. In Israel's camp, family life swelled and strained. Leah bore sons, so did her maid. Rachel struggled, cried out, and at last held Joseph. Rivalries flared, softened, reignited. Israel's blessing drifted like incense toward Joseph, and every drift was noticed. Joseph dreamed in symbols, sheaves in a field, one rising, others bowing, then the sun, moon, and 11 stars giving honor. When he told the dreams, his brothers scoffed, and anger sharpened behind their eyes. Israel reproved him outwardly. "Shall I and your mother and your brothers bow to you?" Yet kept the words in his heart. He knew what dreams could mean. He had once slept with a stone for a pillow and seen heaven open. Far away, Edom fortified. Caravans from the north requested passage and were turned aside. Generations later, when Israel staggered under foreign invasion, voices from the Red Hills mocked and profited. Prophets would remember. The fracture between brothers echoed down centuries. Sometimes trade partner, sometimes rival, never fully healed. Night in Israel's camp brought small peace. Joseph lay beneath the robe his father gave him, eyes fixed on stars. Judah sharpened a blade and watched him. Levi and Simeon argued in whispers. Dan kept his thoughts to himself. Israel sat near the embers, face lit by low fire, and studied the sons who would become tribes. Love and history wrestled in his chest. He knew how easily a family could split into nations. He had lived it. Joseph turned toward him. "Do you think Yahawah still speaks in dreams?" Israel answered quietly. "He spoke to me when I fled your uncle. He spoke again when I returned. If he speaks to you, listen." Joseph nodded, holding the moment. Seasons turned. The brothers ranged far with the flocks. Israel, uneasy, sent Joseph to check on them. The wind shifted. Old patterns stirred. Destiny began to coil. From one womb came 2 nations. One chased appetite. One clung, however imperfectly, to promise. One settled for the immediate kill. One bargained, wrestled, limped its way toward covenant. Yet both were sons. Both were loved. Both would shape the map under the same sun. At dawn, Israel climbed a rise and looked out, his tents behind him, Edom's lands somewhere beyond the horizon. He lowered himself to his knees. "Yahawah, you chose not the strongest but the struggler. You blessed not the flawless but the flawed. Let your promise outlive our failures." The sky lightened. Stars faded. 2 peoples, bound by blood and history, waited beneath the widening day. The story of Jacob and Esau closed there, but its echo moved forward in their children, and their children's children, and in every conflict where memory still speaks. The covenant endures through imperfect people. That is its miracle.